The studio needs more storage, a really specific kind of storage. Storage for what? We'll get to that. As important at this point is that even though we're in the furnace room and almost no one will ever see any of this, I don't want it to be boring storage. It was more to the point, I don't want to be bored designing and building it. Plan A, and the obvious thing to do here, is assemble everything out of plywood. I'm short on fresh points of view on plywood fabrication. Dull as dirt, but also on the to-do list is to clear out this no longer needed workbench. I made it for my son about 5 years ago, and he made the best possible use of it. It's truly glorious. So I'm going to set the design parameter for myself that this build use these materials. I have no idea at this point how that will work out, and that piques my interest. I'll clear off and I guess start breaking down this workbench, finish emptying out the furnace room completely, all the while thinking about what on earth I'm making. My son's off to college, if you're wondering why I'm rudely stealing his workbench. Okay, oh, haven't looked in here in a couple of years. Maybe this just became the paint for this storage unit. This channel has a store, the Cinodrome company store, and as it turns out, I really enjoy designing and manufacturing or having manufactured products for this store. It's still in its relative infancy, but nonetheless, sales are steady. And as it also turns out, maintaining stock, taking orders, shipping orders consumes valuable minutes, and I do everything I can to triage my minutes and make them what I want them to be. So this is all an exercise in making the work around the store as efficient as it can possibly be. So I'm designing a, not a procurement center, a fulfillment center. Storage for all store products and an area to package up, print shipping labels, and do the whole thing in one place efficiently. And why on earth am I doing this in the furnace room? Because I am genuinely out of available inches in the San Francisco house. 87. The studio is 10 feet away, and I've always used this for studio overflow. The portable table saw was in here, some other tools. They've now been kicked out. The table saw is going to live under the stairway. Commonly used building materials that I'd kept in here are going down to the garage to join the rest of building materials. The garage in this crazy house is accessed by going outside and down the street. So I decided it wasn't practical to run the store from there. 41. So it's a strange place to set up a store, but if we're lucky, all the more reason it will be, what, imbued with unexpected and compelling qualities? Sure. Why do houses in Denmark look like houses look in Denmark, or mid-century chairs? Why do they look the way they do? I'm always pretty quick to ask questions about materials and tools that were available and in use at the time things were designed. I think that material and tool choices play a larger role in design outcomes than is sometimes acknowledged. The reason I've been building storage and containers in my studio out of 1/2-inch plywood for the last handful of years is because I don't have a pickup truck in San Francisco. I've run out of a lot of the old lumber I salvaged from the house. In the middle of a busy city, I don't have easy access to other lumber options. The access I have is at the big box store where they sell 2-foot by 4-foot sections of plywood, and those pieces of plywood fit into my little hatchback car. Therefore, a lot of plywood construction has been going on. This is all about throwing a wrench into what has become the two easy material and tool choices that have been influencing design around here. I'll still be using that plywood stock from the box store, and we'll see if it plays well with others. It seems like I have to find a way to incorporate that little event into this piece of furniture. When I do work with plywood, I have wholeheartedly adopted the Tom Sachs routine of pre-painting the main surfaces before working with the material. Thank you, Tom Sachs. It really helps the cause. I guess it adds another texture dimension to an otherwise really predictable and understandable stock material. This is that paint I found in this cabinet, and as much as I would like chance to play a role in this design, I want to make sure that this does play well with others. And you know what? It's weirdly almost the exact hue and value of the plywood. I don't think so. I'll probably resort to my favorite green. Someone commented recently that the only predictable thing about any of my designs is my color palette. As much as I would love to defy expectations, it's probably true. White, neutral gray, the old green. Yeah, green. I would absolutely paint all this orange if I had a big supply of my orange, but I don't. There you have it. Available materials influencing design. After some time spent noodling with piles of t-shirts, measurements from the room, and some questionable math, I have a pretty solid grasp on what this unit's going to do starting on the left-hand side of things. What happens after that's a little fuzzy? That's okay, we've got a bite-sized chunk which provides a place to get started. I sand my plywood parts after they've been painted, and yeah, it gives them a fairly distinct texture, but it's actually not why I started sanding them this way. After plywood is painted with acrylic paint, it's a little sticky and lumpy, and running a sander over them creates a harder, smoother surface, which is nicer for a plywood shelf. Edgeware like this is also central to the design language of Star Wars and Transformers for that matter. So I'm likely hardwired to find it desirable. So here be the bones of the left-hand side of this unit. It can handle full stock for 3 different kinds of t-shirts. We're looking at it on its side. Little mistake here, easily fixed. Yeah, I have yet to incorporate anything from the workbench material, but this setup needs a table to work on, and that seems like a place to start. Well, if this is going to be the work table, all well and good, and I don't think I mind it being lumpy. It's really lumpy in spots, however. Something like this nut might need to go away. I just noticed this, which I love, Scotch tape footprint. I don't know how deep this table can be yet, but I know it can't be this deep. I'll move this in and then trim off the back, and I'll go figure out how much depth I have in there for a table. I don't have room for a table at all. I could build a table over here, a teeny tiny table, collapsible table, card table. Nope. The table could be part of the shelf. It could collapse or lift up. It could lift up, drop down table. I have to hope, if it doesn't conflict with shelves too badly, a drop down table. Time to give that table something to attach to. I think I measured this all so I can install this. Nothing guaranteeing that, though. I'm pretty lucky. Fractions of inches. And I only broke the light a little bit. Moving on. It is pouring rain outside and faced with a tight, self-imposed deadline, bizarre solutions present themselves. Welcome to the first, and I hope last, use of hallway shop. And yeah, to get back and forth to the camera and the furnace room, I have to crawl under the table saw. Putting together, by the way, the unit that sits on the right of the t-shirt unit, which holds everything but t-shirts. Coming to turn the camera off. And let's stock this bad boy. Train t-shirts, unreleased. Stealth t-shirts, so labeled. And marquee logo t-shirts. Your key to the Cinodrome. And the Cinecombs. Shipping, packaging. Got a spot for the scale and stickers. Extra printer labels, return, address, stamp, a couple pencils, a pen, and an X-Acto. Really seems like I should fulfill something, doesn't it? While I do, allow me to thank members to this channel. Longtime members in the balcony who are scrolling by as we speak. And everybody doing their part up on the chalkboard of fame. 1 key to the Cinodrome. Number 141. 3 marquee stickers. 3 Cineglobe stickers. Sealed with a Cineglobe. Enjoy your key to the Cinodrome, Sagan. Thanks, everybody.